First off, you have a gun, and all they're doing is digging through the trash. So please tell me, in what situation do you need to up the blicky on a dumpster diver? Like, if anything, that should be a bottle of Febreze instead. Because I don't know if it's you or them, but...
Somebody smell that shit!
Hey man, it's your boy Alex, and welcome back to another bang.
Today, we are talking about Gachiakuta, the world full of garbage, and the boy who's going to use that garbage to get the toughest get back of the century. And since there's only one episode out at the moment, I'm going to need y'all to bear with me, because I'm about to enter the yap state. So don't be surprised about throwing a LeBron edit just to reach the 9-minute mark. No, I'm just playing. Maybe. But anyways, sit back and relax and grab some popcorn, because without further ado, it's time to get unhinged. So we start off in a city known as the Zephire, which is a floating city in the sky. And in the upper class district, where all the bougie assholes reside, this little girl is sad because her stuffed animal is ripped. And instead of fixing it after they just bought it, her mother tells her to throw it away so they can buy a new one.
Huh?
Bro, look at this doll. You're telling me you can't fix that? All you have to do is shove it back in there and sew it back up. Like, this is not open heart surgery. But regardless, they decide to throw it away. And while they were dumping their trash, a mysterious cloaked figure was watching them. And now we fast forward to the waste collection facility, where all the city's trash is taken to. And unbeknownst to them, they have an unexpected visitor. And as they jump down and make their way inside, we cut to one of the guards suddenly hearing some strange noises. And when he confronts the intruder, he immediately calls for backup. Like, come on, bruh. Let's take 2 seconds to assess the situation. First off, you have a gun, and all they're doing is digging through the trash. So please tell me, in what situation do you need to up the blicky on a dumpster diver? Like, if anything, that should be a bottle of Febreze instead. Because I don't know if it's you or them, but...
Somebody smell that shit!
Now, the only reason I can see you needing 3 armed guards for this situation is if someone decided to literally throw garbage on these clean-ass fits. Because I'm not gonna lie.
He got that shit on though.
But what are the odds someone's actually gonna chunk some garbage? No, not the fit. Bro, he's definitely getting fired. Like, imagine walking in the next day and telling your boss you got garbage juice on the all whites. But boss, I swear it wasn't my fault. There was this kid and... So after they chunk the trash bags, they take this chance to make their escape, but their exit route gets closed off, and now they're completely surrounded. But the moment they get shot at, they dodge the bullets at the last second as they run around and try to find a new escape route. But right before they make their escape, they get shot in the process. And as the guards run around looking for them, they emerge from a manhole cover as we finally get to see our MC, Rudo. And with the stuffed animal in possession, we cut to somewhere else in the upper class district, where a man named Recto is writing something in his book, when he suddenly overhears 2 women talking about what happened at the waste facility the night before. And when they notice him, he begins to walk away, as they say that all tribesfolk like him are filthy and should stick to their side of the wall. And speaking of that wall, it surrounds the entire city and separates the wealthy upper class from the poor outskirts known as the slums, which is where the descendants of criminals live, who they call the tribe folk. And this just so happens to be where our main character Rudo calls home. And while he's over here tinkering, he gets confronted by his friend Chiwa, who has also heard about his dumpster diving incident. And while they're chopping it up, some kids walk over and start making fun of Rudo. And they had the nerve to call him stinky and dirty, like they're all in the same situation, over here making fun of his gloves and kicking his stuff. And I know you're not talking, buddy. Look at your crusty ass beanie. Hold on, Rudo. I'm about to flame his ass. Boy, you are so dirty, you probably get a bar of Dove soap for your birthday. And why would you make fun of anyone who has red eyes? Has no one learned from the last time? But you see, Rudo was fine with them calling him dirty. But the moment they brought up his father, he got pissed off because his dad was sentenced for murder and was sent down to the pit as his punishment. Now, the people of the flying city known as the Zephirites refer to the ground below as the pit, which is really just the Earth's surface, but it's turned into a toxic wasteland due to all the trash that they drop down on it. And whoever is sentenced to go down there is never allowed to return. And after talking about his father, Rudo has heard enough. And after scaring the other kids away, he tried to give Chiwa the stuffed animal he found for her. But right before he could, her mother tells her to come home. So he accepts defeat and makes his way back to his house. And when he gets there, he's greeted by Recto, who just so happens to be his guardian figure. And apparently, he overheard Rudo and Chiwa's entire conversation. And after making fun of him for it, they begin to talk about Rudo's trash raid from the night before. And during their conversation, Recto notices Rudo's gunshot wound and tells him that he's going to rebandage it. And this is when we find out why Rudo wears his gloves all the time, which is due to a wound that his father gave him. Bro, what did he do to you? Now I see why they threw his ass in the pit, because he had to be a straight menace to do this to his own child. But anyways, after being fixed up, Recto continues to bully Rudo about Chiwa and the stuffed animal situation. But while they're in the house bonding, standing outside in the dark is the mysterious figure from earlier. The next morning, Rudo heads out to get the stuffed animal to Chiwa. And while he's walking through the slums, he notices a crowd near the edge. And as large amounts of trash are being dumped down to the surface below, someone else was casted down into the pit, just like Rudo's father. And while he's observing this, Chiwa pops up out of nowhere, and she's curious to see why he's so far from home. And Rudo tells her that this spot is no different from anywhere else in the slums. And this is when Chiwa tells him why they built the slums on the edge of the city in the first place, which is apparently because they wanted tribesfolk like them to never forget. Do anything bad, and you get tossed into the pit, along with the garbage. And while they're standing there, Chiwa asks Rudo to stay out of trouble, so he doesn't get tossed into the pit. And he starts to chuckle as he tells her that Recto told him the same thing. And she was like, yeah, we just want to look out for you because we both love you.
Huh?
And Rudo was like, wait a minute, did you just say we? And now Chiwa gets all flustered, and Rudo has no idea what to think. But instead of playing it cool, he gets all nervous too. And this is when Chiwa finally notices the stuffed animal he brought her. And after she accepts it, his initial reaction is to run away. And he can't wait to run home and tell Recto what happened. But while he's running, he suddenly bumps into some apostles, which is basically the sphere's police force. But they normally stay near the upper class district, so them being all the way out in the slums is a little weird. But Rudo shrugs it off and continues home. And the moment he opens the door, he sees the mysterious figure kneeling over Recto's body with the blade lodged in his stomach. And Rudo is in complete shock. But when he rushes in to help, he wakes up with a bloody nose and barely able to move, as the masked figure takes Recto's book and walks out of the house. But suddenly, Recto calls out to Rudo, and Rudo's surprised that he's even still alive. But Recto tells him to run. But Rudo's still in so much shock that he's not listening. So with his dying breath, Recto grabs him and tells him to get out of here and go and change this evil world for the better. But before he could, he gets tased from behind and pinned down. And to his surprise, he's being accused for Recto's murder. And I'ma be honest, it's not looking good for bro. You're the only one at the crime scene, with his blood all over you and a fat-ass blade through his chest. And to make it worse, when he tried to explain himself, they just knocked his ass out. And when everyone caught wind of this, we cut to Rudo's trial. And everyone in the crowd is either pissed off or disgusted. And it doesn't help that his father was already accused of the same crime. And as he's ringed up in front of everybody, he is sentenced to death by pit. And now everyone is chanting out calling him filth. So with no other options, Rudo looks out of the crowd in hopes that someone would listen to him. But as he scans around, he notices Chiwa. And he calls out to her and claims his innocence. But she doesn't believe him. She says that he's just like his father, the son of a killer. And then she drops the stuffed animal and walks away. And as the crowd continues to chant, Rudo utters to himself that none of them are no better than he is, and that they're all better off dead anyways. But as he's about to get casted out, he looks up to see the mysterious figure in the crowd. And seconds later, he's sent plummeting down to the depths below. But during his fall, he vows to return one day and kill every single one of them until he's suddenly consumed by the darkness. And when he finally wakes up, he looks up at a clouded and polluted sky as he lays on a pile of garbage. And when he looks around, that's all he can see for miles on end, as he's now arrived to the bottom of the pit. And as he tries to get his thoughts together, he's suddenly shrouded by a large shadow as the garbage around him begins to move. And unfortunately for him, that shadow turns out to be a giant beast made of trash. And as it begins to open its mouth, Rudo realizes that the pit is not just a landfill, but hell itself. Alright, so that's it for today's video. But don't worry, we got some more bangers coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And once again, I appreciate everybody for watching. But before you go, please make sure to like and subscribe as well. It's your boy Atlas, and I'll catch you next time.
Later, nigga. You hear me? Hit the rollie, start with the rollie on. What was our